Hello, dear Rinpoche. This is a great, huge honor to welcome you on the show of holistic personal interviews that is usually in Polish, but I do have a privilege from time to time to host amazing guests, and I am extremely, extremely happy to welcome you today and to be able to talk to you. So, can I briefly introduce you to wider audience? Tenzin Wangyal Rinpoche, known for your 10 books, and also as a founder and spiritual director of Ligmincha International. You are one of only few masters of the Bön Dzogczen tradition presently living in the West, and you are an accomplished scholar in the Bön Buddhist textual tradition and also Bön practices. I will ask you in a second about Bön tradition itself, but we are meeting today because also of your engagement in Poland. You have been to our Congress, International Congress of Integrative Medicine that we host with our foundation. Very, very happy that you agreed to share your knowledge about health building and traditional Tibetan knowledge on living well. Maybe that's how I would call it. I thought to ask you about longevity, but maybe the perspective would be more about what is actually not only about the length of life as we understand longevity, but more of quality of life and how to live a good life.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you for inviting me here. Honor. And so idea of longevity in Tibetan tradition could be different ways to look at it. Of course, for sure, it's not only lifespan, it's also how well you're living, health span, what they call it, not lifespan, but health span. So you don't want to live very long when you cannot walk, think, talk, move, but you do want to live as long as possible when you can move, be independent, you can think, you can guide yourself in everyday situation, life. Yes, for sure. And I think it's important thing is it's this longevity also sometime in the West, there's so much focus on lifelong or physical longevity rather than the spiritual sense of longevity. And so I think sometime from the perspective of Buddhism or Bön, you lack a very important element when you think about only body living long, rather than the spirit living long, rather than the mind being kind and compassionate and bringing more peace and collaborating with other people, a society with a harmonious society. So those are important elements to consider.
Yeah, it feels almost like we are a little bit in the West hypnotized by this longevity, almost a sign everywhere, and at the same time it feels like, I don't know, I would like to ask you about your diagnosis on these times that we are living now, because at the same time it feels like we are troubled with many problems. So this quality of life that you just mentioned, kind mind, soft heart, strong spirit, is very troubled.
Clearly, there's a two dimension to it, and I do think it will be probably, if you look at in the US, it will be example of Elon Musk and Brian Johnson. So there's the two guys. Probably you're familiar. So in some sense, I think I think I don't go into that
In the
in
politics.
politics thing very much. Yeah, but I think it's some sense of discussing longevity, taking care of oneself, taking care of other people, taking care of your health seems like regardless of there's a selfishness in it, but I
Mm,
think that is very important rather than totally ignoring your own body, ignoring your own feeling, totally driven by your ignorance, your ambition and your fear and your hope and so on. You're driven by that and bringing a more destructive force into the universe, into the world. I think much more riskier and dangerous rather than focusing on well-being. And that trend of focus on well-being, I do like it very much, and I do think
mm,
it's very important, and we do need to support that, about that principle, but always make sure that you focus on longevity, but you also focus on impermanence. You focus
mm,
on yourself, you also focus on others. So those balances are always sometimes we lose.
mm. Yeah, there's few thoughts in my mind as you speak now, because on one hand, this example of very narcissistic point of view where um, me more, longer, more. It also causes on huge scale, touching on politics a little bit, but it's an example. But it can cause actually huge damage also to the earth and ecology. And it will affect at the end with shorter lives because we won't live healthy. It's just logics. If we won't live healthy if the earth isn't healthy. So that's actually this is what I got from what you said. Also, if we don't.
Yes, clearly, yeah, clearly, I think so. In a Buddhist principle, we think about compassion, we think about caring for others, we think about collective wisdom, we think about collaboration, because in some sense, we think about the philosophical term is interdependency. So we are interdependent. We are dependent on each other. The whole idea of somebody, sometimes when people are very much focused on themselves as a country, as an individual, as a family, even even business models, when very much focused on themselves, it's very difficult to survive. As you said, without environment, we cannot going to survive. Without clean air, we are not going to survive. Without clean water, we are not going to survive. Without other people, you're not going to survive. So
Mm,
somehow that our survival has so much to do with interdependency, healthy interdependency.
mm. So where does this come from? This urge to want more all the time and to be so detached.
Yeah. So where does it comes from? I think main thing is that many of us, we have lost deeper connection to ourselves or deeper understanding of ourselves. Or in Buddhism and the other teachings, we call self-realization, that we don't know who we are. So when you don't know who you are, then only thing in life to do, need to do, you desire, you big longing is to find yourself. That's the fundamental question that every seeker, every religious tradition, every deep thinker has. It's seeking for oneself, looking for oneself, longing for oneself. When you look for oneself in a wrong way, you don't look for yourself, you're looking what substitutes you:
Mm,
power, money, and conquering others, dominating others, and so on and so on. So all the destructive things, the war, on all the political situations, what's happening in the world, even talking about longevity. If you think about longevity, the way people deprive their sleep, for example, not sleeping enough, that's you're killing yourself slowly. when you amount of consumption of junk food, processed food, sugars that people eat on an everyday basis, you are killing yourself slowly. You're not trying to live longer. You are killing yourself slowly. It's a matter of time. So if you are not connecting with your loved ones, your families in time, you are slowly also disconnecting, that the social connections are not there anymore. And that isolation, loneliness is also killing yourself. So basically, so these, in the process of searching for oneself, where we end up doing a negative activities, which instead of finding yourself, instead of living this body longer, it becomes shorter and lost and very self-destructive, individually and collectively.
Where would you say these cravings are coming from? Because you mentioned also, because searching for oneself may be also understood as searching in the outer supplements, as you said. But there, I think in it seems, at least if I search within myself, there are cravings that are sometimes maybe clouding myself and my mind and my heart, or they're just extreme emotions, and they push me to detach more. But isn't it our nature also?
Well, I mean, it is, in this case, in situations where we are, it is kind of natural thing. But that whatever you think is a natural thing, it's important to recognize is a natural thing. So I give a very, very practical example. Okay, so I think maybe it's important to think about that. So you think about, for example, sleep. Okay, let's think about sleep. So one of the most, we are society as a sleep-deprived society. We don't sleep enough. We don't sleep well. We don't wake up so much. Not enough time, enough quality in our nightlife. Okay, day you are busy. Day you have messed up. Many people messed up their day, but even they are now messing up their night. So when I talk about changing that, I face a few issues when I see people. Number one, people, they don't want to hear that. They're just close. They don't hear that. The moment it happens to everybody. When you talk to someone, when you know this person is not interested at all, either you or what you're saying, you can feel that. It's just close. That's the number one. It's called ignorance, closeness. But another category of people will be, they're not that bad. That's absolute ignorance. So they are close to looking at perspective of their health problems. They are not able to look at their relationship problem. They are not able to look at their personal problem. They're not able to look at their business problem, professional problem. They're not willing to look. It's close. So that's the one. Second one, they're open to it. You can see those people also when you talk about, oh, you're sleeping only 4 hours, 5 hours. That's not sufficient enough. Do you know that? Yeah, I know. I've been trying. And I've been working hard. I've been working for the last 5 years, 10 years, but I'm still struggling a lot. I take some pills and so on. So you can see the second category of group of people, they are aware, but they're trying with the wrong thing. They're trying. Word trying is already bad. Means effort, means anxiety. Anxiety is anxiety, 80% of the people who have difficulty following sleep, it's anxiety based. So they don't know how to find a way to calm their mind.
Sorry, can I just interrupt? What is the word that you would change trying for? If I was to use another word than trying, that made me stress me out.
Instead of trying, You have to see who is trying, why this person is. For example, somebody will say, automatically say, oh, I do not sleep more than 5 hours. They identify with 5-hour sleeper. That identity is very subconscious. It's very deep inside themselves. And that identity, it's having difficult, or it's trying to sleep 7 hours because it's identified with 5 hours. So in Buddhism, we think about identity issue. You have identified with the wrong person, and you're trying to be the right person. A wrong person cannot be right person. That's where the problem is. You have to realize you are right person and work from that place of right person, not being wrong and trying to be right. Doing right thing to be wrong person, trying to do right thing. So that's number 2. So when you are aware of this identity, that you are identifying with 5-hour sleeper, or you're identifying not well, you're identifying with weakness, and you're trying to be strong. You identify with your depression, you're trying to be happy. You're identifying with, not being nice person, then you're trying to be nice. All this conflict of identity and actions, it's not working. That's why energy is drained. That's why the lifespan is drained. That's why the longevity is shortcut. And number 3 is the action. Action is actual sleeping 8-9 hours, action of kindness, action of compassion. And this action only happens spontaneous. It's called spontaneous action, effortless action. Like it can only happen when you are mature enough, aware enough of yourself. When you are aware enough, you are strong. Your strength will manifest out of your voice. Your voice will be stronger already because you're aware enough of your inner strength. It's not like your weakness is trying to be strong and trying to fake strong voice.
So action cannot happen without step 2, and step 2 cannot happen without step 1.
Absolutely. It's called view, awareness, and conduct.
I have this question. I don't know how to form it really rightly, but do you think everyone has a potential to dive deeper and I don't know, like move away these identities that become obstacles?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to, it's important to hear yourself. For example, I give one example. I was in Nepal. I met one of my old childhood friends who was facing with high blood pressure, diabetic, and he's only sleeping 4 to 5 hours a night. And then he told me, he said, it's so nice to see you. We've been a long time. And then he said something like, oh, I've been having some health challenges. It seems like this is my age. He's not that old. He's maybe 65 or something like that. He's not that old. So he's already saying, it seems like this is how the rest of my life will be, just to live with the diabetes and insulin and sleep only 4 hours. And then I told him, my friend, did you just hear what you just said to yourself? He said, what do you mean? I said, you said that you are planning to live the rest of your life with insulin and diabetic and sleep 4 hours. And this, you just told me, but this is how you've been thinking for all the time. This identity will kill you. This identity will kill you because it will not change anything. It has no hope to change. It doesn't believe in able to change. This will kill you. So you recognize this identity. Tonight is a good example. So let's change few behaviors tonight. One, I said, no more phone in the bedroom or near the bed. So you leave bed phone before when you go to bed until next morning, until 7, 8 in the morning or something like that. You do not touch phone. Number one. Number two, he said every time he gets up 4 in the morning, then he struggles, and then he goes into social media, don't sleep. Then they make a cup of coffee. No, not doing that anymore. Tonight, you're doing a meditation. You're doing breathing practices, 12-second breathing. So you go 4 seconds in, your body, you keep doing this. Even though it might be a little challenging for first time, keep doing this. And you can think about staying in the bed for a few more hours, 5 more hours. I just make a little joke, no? So then next morning he came up, he said, oh, I cannot believe what happened yesterday night. I cannot believe. He said, usually when he wakes up 2, 3 in the morning, he can never sleep back. Or even if he can, it will be very short. Last night he slept 3 extra hours. 3 extra hours. Plus means 4 hours plus 3 hours. So he get sufficient sleep, but changing the idea that what he's doing is wrong, what he can do is having more clear picture of what he can do.
But wasn't it because he started with actually behavior? So he started with an action and then he believed to be able to change his identity.
Yeah, so 2 things. He recognized his identity, that who is planning to live with this diabetes and sleep only 4 hours for the rest of his life. That identity is, I mean, I don't know how you see it, but that identity is very dangerous. Many people have those identity. They don't recognize that identity will kill you. Because it's not willing to change. It's not hoping it can change. But he managed to change in one single night, getting 3 extra hours of sleep. And that means if he keep doing this every night, probably his diabetes will change. And the same behavior with the sleep, he can change the behavior with the food. He can think, okay, well, I think I cannot get rid of sugar. Why not you cannot get rid of sugar? People say those things. Oh, I love sweet too much. Yes, you can love sweet, but not able to minimize quantity, quality, or even give up completely. You can do that. But the voice inside you saying, I can't do that, it's the problem.
Yeah. Can I ask you about, we started to touch upon the subject before the recording, about effort that comes with it. Because it seems like when we feel that change is possible, it gives a lot of hope and power, but to start seems really difficult. And sometimes changing our habits, changing our habitual, on all levels, physical, mental, emotional, habitual paths of how we live, takes a lot of effort, actually.
Yes, so I guess I clearly understand that effort. So I guess there's an important point is, let's talk about, we're talking about the longevity, and the sleep is a very important part. And then the diet is a very important part of it, particularly sugar. So there's two issues. And of course, the spirituality is the other part of there too. So to change something, you have to recognize how close you are. We said earlier that when you talk to someone,
yes,
all the listeners, just when you talk to someone, you know this person is not listening to you. You know this person is not interested in theme that you're talking about, right? How often do we see that? Very often. Same thing, you have to look at yourself. in a important point in your life that you are not interested, that if somebody is talking about my health, I have to recognize I'm not listening. I have to recognize I'm not interested in it. I have to recognize my pain. My pain is close. It cannot see anything, hear anything. My pain is not willing to have a dialogue. My pain is not going into reflecting on what the consequences are, trying to have a little extra awareness. My pain is doing it. So number one is to recognize that.
Okay, can I ask you how to start recognizing? Then
so you have to be like a mirror. In our teaching, we say have a mirror, so symbol of mirror. How often people use mirror?
A lot.
Especially women, right? So you have a mirror everywhere. You people carry a mirror. What do? You're trying to look at how you look.
Yeah.
So the same way we call it mirror-like wisdom. Mirror-like wisdom. They got to be inside a mirror wisdom that every moment, particularly those moments when it's absolutely necessary, like my friend, who, when I told him, he respects me, so he heard me. He said, "Did you hear what you just said?" I did not tell him anything. Did you hear yourself what you said? That mirror is so important to have very openly. That's why sometimes people have bikers, they have a little mirror here, like near the air, that you can see. So you have to have that mirror all the time.
Can I ask you then about practices that are that we could look into or implement in our life that could help us to develop
practices?
Yes.
Yeah. So I will talk about the inner refuge. Okay, the word inner and refuge. So why inner and refuge? Inner means the refuge is within yourself. Protection is within yourself. Home is within yourself. Peace is within yourself. Perfection is within yourself. The sense of completeness is within yourself. Sense of belonging is within yourself. So everything that we look outside ourselves to complete ourselves, it's within yourself. So therefore, you have to look inside that mirror. You have to look at the mirror to see yourself. So we call it inner refuge. Reason why we call it refuge is because there's a sense of protection there. So what do you do? What do you do is when your body is in pain, not only physical, what I call pain body, pain identity.
Yes.
Or even in the night when your nightmare comes, you contracting your body, your heart is beating faster, So when your body is responding like that, your identity is responding like that, you recognize that your pain is activated. Now you have to take a pill, or what I call take a white pill, the stillness of the body. So that very moment, you have to feel trying to feel the stillness in your body. And you do this, we call it like, you can do a 12-second breathings, longer exhalation, that's the key. So you go 4-second nose. Keep continuously breathing that, but your attention is in the body, in the stillness. That's the meditation first one. To overcome your pain body, pain identity. Second exercise, so that means you're practicing your inner stillness. You're always grounding in your body.
Mm-hmm.
Second exercise, second refuge, is the wisdom of inner silence. Whenever you immediately, when somebody says something, when you see something, you triggers, you immediately wanted to text someone, message someone, your reaction to someone, and you can see the horrible words and angry words and mean words and hurtful words. And you can see immediately you going crazy. Especially nowadays, it's very dangerous because every text message you send, it goes around the world, right? So when you immediately hear those voices, what do? You recognize my pain speech is activated. It's a pain which is typing, who's writing, who's finding all these words. This is your pain speech. You have to recognize like a mirror. This is my words. They're quite a scary words. What I'm ready to type, what I'm ready to say to someone, this is me. You have to be conscious of that. And then instead of send, I always tell, type whatever you wanted to type, be careful with one button is the send one. Right? Don't keep your finger away from that send button. So you stay away, and then you look inside in internal mirror, and then feel the silence. Before was the stillness in your body, remember?
Yes, yes.
Now it's the silence in your speech. So you go, you listen to the silence. You feel the silence. You feel the joy of the silence. You feel the light of the silence. You feel the peacefulness of the silence. You feel the fun part of the silence. You feel the nourishing part of the silence. The silence has so many different qualities. When you feel all those things, you have a fun. You don't try anymore. Being in that silence is the fun. Because it's like eating a sugar. Whatever you can imagine, having a nourishing meal, or having a great massage, or being with a loved one. It's like that. Being in silence is like that. That's why it's called inner refuge. That silence will protect you, not activate more pain words. And it will protect you not to send that text message. Last one. Third one is the spaciousness of the heart, the openness of the heart. When something happens in everyday life, somebody does something, says something that you feel hurtful, immediately your heart shuts down, or your loved one leaves you, your loved one says some hurtful things, your heart is shutting down immediately. You start to breathe faster, your pressure goes up. You recognize physical response to it. You recognize physical contractions. You recognize heart rate fast speeding up. Recognize that. Then you breathe deep and just allow that. Breathe with the breath, with the sense of openness inside heart, actually physically, and also with the sense of mind feeling like a sky. Spaciousness of the heart, stillness of the body, silence of the speech, spaciousness of the heart. 3 S's, 3 precious pills. You take them whenever your body is in pain, your speech is in pain, your mind is in pain, whenever they're shutting down rather than expanding it. So these are practices that you do every day, any given moment when you are feeling a need and refuge.
Really not possible to overdose these pills. There's also a quality that that it's a question if maybe this is the track also to follow. Is there a curiosity in this state of silence, that if we have this curiosity, what's there, it somehow it's alive.
So yes, absolutely. So I would recommend all the audience, listeners here, to do this. Do this practice when 3 in the morning when you wake up. Okay. More likely even 3, 4 in the morning when you wake up. Don't try to struggle to go back to sleep. You know, this is what people do. People activating their stress hormones, right? So try working hard to go back. Don't try that. Take these 3 pills and rest deep in their body. So you don't move your body. Every time you're trying to go to change your position, just stay in a still same position. I do that every morning. You know, I just came back from Nepal, and I have been, been not a little bit, some food poisoning. So my stomach is in not well the last 2 days. So usually I have a great night's sleep. Last night was not that great night. That means I get up 3, 4 times, but still, this is my sleep.
100%.
100%, even though I'm saying was not the best night's sleep. I mean, this is Whoop device feedback, 100% sleep. My body it's not 100% because I would have a higher quality.
Yeah, but can I ask you?
Can I ask you about, because you, as you showed your device, about also new technologies and science in regarding to traditional Tibetan knowledge. So how do you see them coming together? And
absolutely, they come very well. What I'm saying, okay, let's not go change the topic here, okay?
Yes.
Let's stay with the same thing. So this is, I don't know if you see this or not.
Yeah,
4:28.
4 hour and 50 minute, 4 hour and 51 minute. That's my restorative sleep. Restorative sleep is the highest quality of sleep. So that means it's combination of REM and deep sleep. It's not a light sleep. So I'm able to achieve this. I'm able to achieve this regardless of how many times I have to go to the bathroom because of my stomach. This is not easy to achieve. This is not easy to achieve. Even you don't have to go to the bathroom when you have not issues issues like this. So what I'm trying to say here is most people will not have that. Not neither 100% or close to 5 hours of restorative sleep. Yesterday evening we were talking about the group here. A young guy, he's saying he has about 2.5 hours restorative sleep. My son is 19 years old. He might have 3 hours restorative sleep because people don't sleep enough. So this is my recommendation to audience here is listen carefully and keep it in your rest of your life, this advice, and change your life. Every time when you wake up 3, 4 in the morning, don't try hard to go back to sleep. Tell yourself, I don't have to go back to sleep. What I have to do is rest deep in this inner refuge. Deepest stillness in my body. So the body is not struggling putting any more effort. Deepest silence in my voice, speech, that I feel this peace in me. My heart is completely open. My body is completely relaxed. with the help of breath and the help of trust yourself that I can do that. Do that. I mean, I would say do that for 1 hour or do that for 2 hours. This is a trick. So think
but
about
we may fall asleep in between. Like
you may fall asleep. You may fall asleep within 15 minutes, but that is not what you're doing it. You don't expect that. If you expect to fall asleep, then you will not fall asleep. And it's okay to not fall asleep for if you're waking up 4 a.m, another hour and a half, if you did not go back to sleep, not a problem. You get enough restorative quality. Your body is nourishing enough.
Even if I don't fall asleep literally, but I am in such a deep relaxation
and state of mind.
You are total relaxation in your body, in your speech, in your heart. Your heart rate will be slowest as slower. It will be so slowest as possible. Your baseline.
I understand.
So you don't even have to fall asleep. You will be benefiting almost the same amount benefit as you're falling asleep. But very likely you will fall asleep. Very likely you will have a lot of fun going back and forth in your dreams. So remember this advice and keep this advice for the rest of your life. If you begin tonight, your life will begin to change tonight.
Thank you.
Sooner you begin to change it, better it will be. So remember that.
Thank you. Thank you. Can I now jump into to the subject that I was really, really also curious to ask you about integration? So science, evidence-based medicine, and traditional knowledge. What is your perspective on dialogue between them?
So from my perspective, every knowledge, every discovery should be shared, collaborated, benefited equally for both sides. It's not like sometimes religions are like a religion, very biased. My religion is good and others are not good. Science sometimes becomes the same thing. Scientists, they are biased scientists. Even very contradicting science findings too. If you look at drinking alcohol, until this year, even sometimes people believing it's good to drink red wine. So now people have changed clearly in our science saying you cannot say it's good to drink. For some people, it might not affect negatively as much, but the saying it's good to drink, for sure, it's not right. But 2025, finally they find out after all these years, like they find out the secret. So science delays a lot of things also. But whatever the science finding is, it should not be ignored. Whatever the ancient wisdom traditions are there should not be ignored. What I believe sometimes in our ancient tradition, Tibetan tradition, there's so much richness on the self-healing mechanism methods. Physical exercises, breathing exercises, mental visualizations, deeper awareness exercises, dream practice, sleep practice, yogas. There's so many practices, but the science totally ignores it. Every time the Western science, every time when they find something, they say they found something, but they haven't found anything. This is already, we are talking in our scripture text. This yogis have been practicing already this before. For example, when I'm talking about this dreams like this, we've been practicing this for a long time.
Yes.
So, but I'm not saying, oh, we have been practicing and then science is not good. I'm not saying that. I wear this device every single night, 24 hours. I measure with my awareness and my device both. And as I said yesterday night, my devices cannot be better than this. Close to 5 hours of restorative sleep, 100% sleep score. As far as the device is concerned, this is it, optimal. But as far as my awareness is concerned, it could be a little bit better.
Ah.
Sometime
Hmm.
this might not be as good, but my body tells me a different. So I listen to my body more, but I respect science device also.
So you're actually speaking now about knowledge and experience, as far as I understand.
Absolutely. Science is very much based on measuring things, and there are a lot of biofeedback measuring system. And I think every day people should do. Every day people should use measurement. What I'm trying to say. So, for example, I'm not pre-diabetic. I'm not diabetic, but I'm curious about sugar. I've been learning a lot about the sugar, and I've used twice continuous glucose monitor to check. And since a year and a half ago, I've improved so much my sugar level. This morning, I just for the curiosity, in being in a new place, I checked. This is how I use my resting glucose level is 83. But
Is it
it's
good?
not that it's not that I'm worried. I'm anxious. No, but I wanted to having fun with optimizing. What is the best? I want to achieve that. If people want to race car, people want to do race swimming, people want to do hike and doing dangerous sport, I wanted to raise my health numbers for fun.
Yeah, why don't we race with ourselves for health and for more balance?
My better self with my addictive self. It's a competition, and I'm having a lot of competition with that. Enjoying it, having fun.
Yeah,
I'm having more fun than playing game with someone else.
I can hear you talk a lot about joy also.
Yeah, it is a joy, absolutely. And it has to be joy. I think in life, every good thing you're trying to do is a social work. It has to be joy. If it's a business, it has to be joy. It has the creativity, it has to be joy. Taking care of your health has to be joy. Taking care of your family has to be joy. It has to be joy. If it's not joy, it will not last long.
But yet, sometimes we face problems and difficulties.
No, yeah, but even when you look at difficulties, you can look at difficulty with strength, with the opportunity to change, or you can look with hopelessness, fear, pain, and not believing that you have energy, capacity to change. So even then, you have to look at always yourself. What is clear? I mean, if I know what needs to be changed is clear, I have to I know what the optimal number is. Sleep is 100%. I achieve now almost every night. It's not an effort.
I hope we all can experience that joy.
No, so that's the thing. I think that this is really my theme here is to, again, we can talk about the theories, principle, findings, science, and intellectual philosophy, religion. But in the end of the day, it has to be a practical thing. It has to be what you're doing right now in your life. Are you changing anything in your life? Do you need to change something in your life? Because if you look every given moment in your life, something got to be changed, or it will be too late to change.
Yeah.
And you need to find out. You have to be curious enough those situations. What is that I need to change now? I cannot wait another day, another month, another year. That's investment, joyful investment we have to do. Every person has to do in their own life. We can, rather than worrying about, politics and criticizing other people, other religion, other people, what people are doing wrong. Instead of looking at what everybody's doing wrong, trying to do the right thing. That takes energy too.
So can I ask you at the end, maybe there is a question that we could ask ourselves in order to start this search for refuge, inner refuge?
Yes. So this the good question is, every time being mirror to yourself, every time seeing how close you are, how lack of willing to engage you are. These two questions, I think, most important question. Because if for example, let's say everybody who's listening to right now, you think about it, listen to the listener and see if this listener in you, how much it is close to listening to me and what I said 3 in the morning to do something. If you did not hear it, you did not listen to it. If you did not listen to it, you mean you are close to it. Not only this, what I said, but every situation in your life, very important things in your life, hear yourself that you are closed completely. You are not open. You are clouded. You are in dark. You are lost. You don't see it. You don't hear it. To be aware of that. First, don't worry about how fast I can change. Change will come fast if you hear that you are close. Being aware of your close will open you faster than not being aware of your close and trying to open all the time. So that's my advice, final advice.
Thank you so much, Rinpoche.
Yeah, thank you. So I wish you all the best. Yeah, thank you.
And to you.
Thank you.